Hello and what is up, my friends? It's ThunderBob here, and tonight we're going to be taking a look at the Goldeneye Remaster. No, not the recently released Xbox and Switch ports, but rather the unreleased Xbox 360 era remake. So to make this short, Rare, under Nintendo, released Goldeneye on the Nintendo 64 back in '97 to wild acclaim. Then in 2002, Microsoft acquired Rare in one of the biggest gaming shakeups at the time. The story goes that in '08, Microsoft ordered Rare to create this remaster for the newly released Xbox Live Arcade system, without really clearing it with Nintendo. But the game basically complete, negotiations fell through, and the game was never released. For years it's been rumored to be coming out just around the corner, and then in 2021 this full remake leaked. It's playable from beginning to end, and with some third-party solutions can even be played online. Then Microsoft and Nintendo announced jointly that GoldenEye was going to be released on both systems, only it was not the full remaster, but rather the original game with some very minor improvements. So I thought I would share tonight my favorite way to play this classic game. You can get this up and running with very minimal effort, and I'll have instructions in the video description below. And in this video, I'm going to run through a couple of levels, well, my favorite levels, and show you how this runs on the Xbox 360 emulator on my PC with improved graphics at 60 FPS. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I wanted to show a few missions tonight. I've actually put in a couple of hours messing around with this in the last few weeks. I hadn't unlocked everything, but I actually found someone kind enough to share a save file with everything unlocked, so I can kind of bounce around and show you a couple of my favorite levels. They also had all of the cheats unlocked. I'm going to start out with these turned off, but I may turn a couple of these on later when we're playing around. There is a Reddit post I found showing that people are playing this online. Like, there is a way to get this set up to connect to other people. It's not on Xbox Live, it's on one of the other services, but it's pretty cool that that's an option. Yeah, so we're just going to jump in. Let me show you one or two things. In here, it looks like there should be 21:9 support, like for ultra wide, but I can't seem to get it working. It's not filling up the whole screen when I do that. So it's weird that, Xbox 360 era has a 21:9 option, but 16:9 seems to work fine for 1080p. I also wanted to show you that there is auto aim on and off in here. The problem with GoldenEye is it wasn't really a twin stick shooter originally. So if you turn this off, there's not a reticle in the middle of your screen. Even if you turn on, and actually it's not on this screen, I'll have to do it in the game. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna load up first level Dam. I'll show you the menu in the game. I'm just gonna start up the agent difficulty because I want to just kind of play around and show you a few things, show you the graphics. I'm not really looking for a hard experience right now, but you can play any of the difficulty levels. And this is with the improved graphics. They redid all the textures, they redid all of the models, everything is redone. And if I just hit the right bumper, it goes back to the classic graphic style, it's pretty awesome just to be able to see. But I do want to show you in the settings. You can turn auto aim on or off, obviously. You can also do show aim crosshairs, and I thought this would put something like in the middle of the screen where if you turn auto aim off, it's easier to aim, like using your twin sticks. It doesn't. All this is it turns on or off the crosshairs when you hold the left trigger. In like original GoldenEye, you hold the left trigger and it would let you aim. You're then locked in place and you use the stick to aim around. But there's no reticule in the middle of your screen, so if you turn auto aim off, it's kind of hard. You're kind of just like putting the enemy in the middle of your screen and praying. So I am playing with auto aim on. It's also how I remember playing the original game. So yeah, auto aim I usually don't play on, but in this case I am actually using it. I loved how you could blow their hats off in the original. And I'm not going to try to play this all stealthy, but yeah, obviously not, because I already got found. Sniper rifle up here. Switch to that. And this controls so much better than the original Nintendo 64 game. I remember, those unwieldy Nintendo 64 controls. It was a fun game, but trying to go back to it these days, I have my Nintendo 64 hooked up, and it is not the easiest thing to just jump into after playing like a modern shooter. The controls are a bit archaic. I mean, this game redefined the FPS controls when it came out. But at the same time, things have changed a lot in the last, 25 years. And there's that auto aim. And that's how it was in the original game. You kind of just had to put the enemy in the center of your screen, and the auto aim would pretty much just kill them for you. In my mind, it always seemed like your Bond. He's great at aiming. All you're doing is controlling him, and you're getting the enemy kind of in the screen, and Bond will take care of the rest. That was my in-head reasoning for the auto aim feature. But I love that you can just hit the right bumper at any time, and you could just play this level with the classic graphics. I remember getting that guy before he stops the alarm was always so hard for me. I don't know. I was playing this game when I was was this 97 when it came out, right? I was 12, playing this game. And now, I've played through almost all of the big FPS games, Half-Life, and I've played through Duke Nukem and BioShock, and I've played through dozens of games since this era, but this was my first real FPS game that I played. I played this on my Nintendo 64 at release. Let's go back to the upgraded graphics and just show you what that looks like. Pretty amazing that they went to the trouble of redoing every texture, every model, everything. You can actually see some stylistic choices here. The mountain architecture has definitely changed. They've added some trees that weren't here before. I'm wondering, there's an island back there, and I actually have a Game Shark, and I've been to that island. There's a Game Shark code you can use to get there. There's nothing really out there, but they modeled it. I think originally there was going to be a boat you could take out there. The only way to get there in the Nintendo 64 is with a Game Shark. I'm really bad with the sniper. There's a lot of look how much he's bobbing around. A lot of aim bob. What I want to see is that, yeah, it's still out there. I'm really curious if I could no clip and get over there and what they would have programmed. And I should actually show you performance. This is running on the Xenia emulator, and it's pretty much locked just about at 60 FPS all the time. I could go down in the under area. You don't really have to when you're playing on just the basic mode. I shot him in the ass. What's crazy is those animations are from the Nintendo 64 version. All those animations where you shoot them in the crotch or in the butt or the head or the arm and they react differently. That's from the original game, and it's crazy that a game in 97 had all of that on a console. Yeah, look at that. They definitely changed the architecture completely. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll see the little end animation in the new graphic style. This is what we thought was cutting-edge graphics in 97. He's just T-posing. It's still one of my favorite games of all time. Me and my buddies used to play this. We would do archives with the proximity mines, if I remember correctly. Okay, so that's Dam. Maybe we'll jump to... I I really think facility is a great one, so maybe we'll just keep an order for the first two, and then I'll jump around. I think I really want to check out train. I always loved train. It's very linear, but it's just a cool conceptual level. And maybe I'll do train and I'll turn on big head mode. This is like one of the coolest like starting points for a level. You sneak in here. There's a dude on the toilet. Let me get it. And I missed it. I'm crouched. I think there's another guy in here if I remember right. Yeah. He's just like heard me. They heard me killing their buddies. And on this easier difficulty, there's really not like that much threat from these enemies. And that's how it was in the original, though. The controls and the low FPS, I think, definitely made this a lot harder. Like, even at the base difficulty, I would not have called this an easy game when I was 12 playing this. And again, I haven't played this like seriously in a long time. Like, me and my buddies maybe 4 years ago hooked up my 64 and played through a couple of multiplayer matches. But I haven't played through like the main story in a long time. So I'm going by memory here on some of this. Like, Dam is obviously pretty basic. This one's a little bit bigger. I think this just looped around to the bathroom I started at. Yep. I actually, the most recent that I played this level is security door activated. Okay. In VR, Pavlov actually has a VR map where you can play through a couple of the Goldeneye levels in VR. So I played through an approximation of this in virtual reality, which is pretty damn awesome. Do I need to blow this stuff up? I can't remember. I think there's a... If you do the harder difficulty, I think you have to blow this up, if I remember right. Isn't this where you run into your buddy who ends up betraying you? And again, this feels so much easier than it did originally. Let's go back to the graphics. It actually up-resed. The basic graphics don't look too terrible here. Armor. I hope I'm going the right way. I cannot quite remember. Thought I unlocked it. Did I unlock this one? Yeah. Alright, so I saved that dude. What do I do? I gotta interact with something. Don't they release some gas on you or something? Rendezvous with 006, destroy all the tanks in the bottom. Mines. Is that in here? Was that it in here? This isn't bottling, right? I have to go in the other side. It's one of those like Gandalf moments. I have no memory of this place. That was gain entry to laboratory area. This game had a huge variety of guns too. So many cool weapons. Yeah, here we go. Do I need to blow those up? I didn't realize that ended the mission right there. Oh well. Let's do train. And I love how like much background and information they'd give you on all this stuff. You'd get like the briefing from M and Q and Moneypenny and all that stuff. This is a mission back in '97 that I was stuck on for quite a while. The reason being, you get to the end and there's a part where like gas starts filling up or the train's gonna explode. I can't quite remember. And then it's basically like figure a way out. And my 12-year-old brain could not figure out what they wanted me to do. And it's so simple in hindsight, but what I ended up having to do, because this was before I had internet access. This was before, this is 97. I think I maybe had internet in like one of my classrooms. I didn't have a computer at home until like 99. I don't know if you could have easily looked up this information back then. Like GameFAQs, maybe it was newly a thing at that point. But I ended up actually going to GameStop or Babbage's, whatever it was at that point. I don't think it was GameStop locally then. I think it might have been Electronic Boutique even. And I looked it up, and it turned out that the solution was to use the little wrist thing that you get in the mission. It's like a little wrist laser. And you gotta break like a little escape hatch. And it's like, I don't know, I couldn't figure that out at the time. So the basics of this level is you have to blow up those little lock mechanisms at the bottom, kill all the guys along the way, and then at the end of the train, like a special guy comes out, you kill him, they'll give you the key that lets you go and save your lady friend. I do remember this mission because I played this one probably 75 times because I kept getting to the end and I just could not figure out that very last step. And to a 12-year-old, it kind of blew my mind when I read it. I'm like, all I had to do was use my little laser watch on the floor. That's so dumb. I should be showing the comparison more, but there's so many guys here, it's kind of hard. But even this probably looks better than it did on the Nintendo 64. Because on Nintendo 64, you know, you're playing at, it wasn't even 640 by 480, I think it was 320 by 280 or something. With literally, like, I'm still getting 60 FPS here. You know, I think this ran at 30 frames, like, when you were lucky. Most of the time, it was, like, closer to 20. I hope I got all those along the way. I think I missed, there's a secret somewhere. Okay, I got it. Which should mean the train stops, and then these a-holes come out. I got the key. But if you're all ready, you don't have to wait for those guys to come out. The door opens, I remember you could rush in. And this is the part I'd always get stuck on. So, like, a timer comes up, and it's basically like you've got 60 seconds to get out. And you could run back through the train, and I was always like, maybe I could get to the front of the train. I remember being stuck on this part for like a month until I could convince my mom to take me to the mall. And literally in like 10 seconds, I read the guide and I figured out what I had to do. And in hindsight, like, as someone in 2023 who's a gamer, I would have failed once and I would have Googled it and watched a YouTube video and been like, oh, okay. But that's what gaming was like in 2007, or 1997, 1998. It was great. It was glorious. I don't regret it at all. It was a good time to grow up. Get them all. There we go. That drops down. She's doing her thing. There's gonna be guys out there if I remember right, so I should probably have my gun ready. Got my little MAC-10 here, and I think you just can like run away. You just gotta get away from the train. Timer counts down. Train starts blowing up. It'll have like a cinematic here. Did we not get far enough away? We did not get far enough away. Why wasn't she following me? All right, we're gonna call that a moral victory, and that we won. Why didn't it fail? Yeah, okay, that's how you died. But that's how you do it. I don't know why she didn't follow me there. Maybe I didn't run away quick enough, but I don't really care. I still love that level. It's so good. All right, I want to do some cheats. I'm gonna turn big head mode on. I want to do like double rocket launcher, double grenade launcher, double RCP 90s. Give me like everything. Golden gun. Remember paintball mode. All right. And let's do like we'll do Cradle. That's the last level of the base game. There's just 2 secret levels, but look at the big heads. They look so ridiculous. You got him. He's got Pierce Brosnan, but he's like, and like this is how it used to look. Like you could barely tell where you were, what you were doing. It actually, this level is a little funky. Like the aliasing on it's pretty bad. Yeah. Get the double RCP 90s. Yeah, like the railing here looks a little weird. Like, oh shoot. I'm admiring the bad aliasing. I mean, it looks better than this, but I feel like this is maybe the least impressive level. And from my understanding, the game was very close to shipping state. I've seen a couple of bugs. Look at the backgrounds there. It's like just a photo. That's like what you'll see in like really like Quest 2 VR games where they don't have the resources to actually have a real background. Oh god, I forgot about this part. The turrets, the dreaded turrets. These things will like rip you apart in half a second. I very much don't remember what you're supposed to do here, other than I think I forgot to turn off the thing. Isn't that up there? Look, that guy had like a tiny hit for some reason. I have 800 bullets. Is the thing I gotta destroy? I don't want to die from. Okay. So now, don't you just drop down? But he seemed to be running the other way. My memory on this is a little hazy. I remember this being way harder, but again, I have infinite bullets, but... I thought you just dropped down here. Maybe you gotta shoot him a couple times, then he comes down here. This is like a 25-year-old, like, fever dream of an ending to the game. Look at those big heads. The backgrounds, I don't remember it looking with, like, the pea green skies in the original. It's a little... Where's Triplin at? How many times I gotta shoot you? Oh, he kills me! Yeah, Big Head mode's hilarious. I love the music in this. Let's look at what they did with Frigate. This is actually one I want to show. One of the things I think that they probably weren't done with. Look at the backgrounds, the water. Like, here's what it used to look like. Oh, Big Head mode's hilarious. And then here, it kind of just looks like there's no texture. Like I said, the game was just about done, but like this is one of those things I feel like maybe they were still fixing, because it just looks like there's nothing. It just seems like the boat is floating, right? I do like the backgrounds they've added. Though, was this supposed to be in like a snowy area? I can't remember. I need to watch the original, not the game, but rather Goldeneye, because all these situations were generally from Goldeneye, like the movie. Like this game stayed pretty close, I would say, to the... Oh, I shot the hostage. I shot the hostage. That was not good. It's alright. I'm gonna go full akimbo here. Don't kill my hostage. Oh, they got the hostage. Look at his little tiny head. Magnum. Golden gun. This will one-shot pretty much anyone in the game. I think I've already failed the mission, but it also only has one bullet, so like it's kind of bad when there's multiple enemies on the. Is that the Moonraker laser? Get double. I would love to see them do. I guess they did. I mean, there was a Perfect Dark Era remaster. I'd really love to see them try these games again in 2023, like almost, like I'm envisioning like how they just did the Dead Space remake, something that's very respectful of the original game, but like brings the gameplay up to a little bit more modern standards, and then also, of course, the graphics, you know, get completely remade from the ground up. That would be a dream of mine, GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. Because while I still love these games, they are 25 years old, and in some ways they just haven't quite aged as well. See, I'm going to bounce to another level. We're probably going to be ending here momentarily, but kind of wanted to show off as much as I can in like a 30-minute video here. What's another good one? Maybe jungle statue? Drive a tank? Ooh, the snow level, yeah. Music has no right to be this good. They really changed this. Like before, there were trees on each side, forming like basically a wall. And instead they made like a literal fence, but it also makes the level feel a lot more open, because like before your sight lines were a lot more restricted. With the fencing, you can kind of just like see. Plus the fog in the original really limited how far you could see, but yeah, there's some choices here that I'm like, I don't know. I guess. They look like ninjas with the snow stuff on. Oh, it's because they have auto aim or unlimited ammo on. It's so much harder to snipe in this compared to like more modern games. And I just want to cycle through all the crazy guns I got unlocked. Yep, that hurts. There was a firefight! One of my favorite rocket launchers. I don't know if they've remastered all the audio effects or if these are the original sounds. Like, it very much sounds like how I remember. Yeah, that explosion straight up sounds like what I remember the explosion sounding like. Alright, let's see if there's anything else I want to look at before we end this. And again, this is super easy to set up. Like, literally, if you follow the guide below, it takes you about 10 minutes to get it all going. Probably be the last one here. This was a kind of a linear level with, like, a lot of story elements from what I remember. It's also a dark level. I'm curious. Oh, man, look how dark it was. I don't remember it being that dark. It also could be like my monitor versus a Nintendo 64, but this is in like a memorial park for World War II, if I remember right. But like in the original, you could. It's a very stylistic choice. Because I thought these were supposed to be like Soviet monuments. And that looks like a soldier, right? In my mind, that's like a Soviet soldier. That, I don't know what it's supposed to be. Yeah. This level, very cool feeling to it. Like you're going through like this Soviet Russian, like, I don't know if it's like an art installation or like ruins. I guess in the original I was like a 12-year-old playing this game. I don't think I really knew what I was going through. Sometimes the big head mode seems like it produces small heads. Right? That seems a little weird. The hammer and the sickle remain. That's interesting. Like some of these they just like straight up changed, or maybe they weren't done modeling them. I mean, it feels like it's almost done, but it definitely, I'd say it's like 90% there. Like it's one of those things like maybe they were a month or two away from being complete. Yeah, here's this dude. Which, that actually isn't a bad representation of the character in the movie. Well, I think I'll end it here. I totally dig Goldeneye, and I think this is probably the best way to play it. The re-releases that they just came out with, I feel like they didn't do enough. Like, all they did was up-res it for the most part. No new models, no new textures, you know, limited improvements. Multiplayer's kind of a joke. When they announced that, and when I actually saw what it was, I was super disappointed, and that's what made me seek out this. I had read that it was available. So for the last couple weeks, I've been kind of toying around with it, and I just wanted to do a quick video kind of highlighting that this is available, that it's pretty easy to set up. And if you're curious, there's detailed instructions in the description of the video. Follow those. You should be able to get this up and running and downloaded in literally minutes. If you got any questions or comments, drop me a message below. And if you do like what I'm putting out there, please do like, subscribe. And I want to thank you one more time for watching, everyone. Have a great night.